Anyway, diversity. That's what I want to talk about, and how and why it's so darn important to celebrate that, to be with that, to be open to it. Diversity is a whole that is greater than the sum of its parts. It really is. And that relates to anything that you can think of. Race, ethnicity, color, religion, sexual orientation, age, ability, blah, 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 right? It goes on and on. We are ever-evolving creatures in an ever-evolving, changing world. And the innumerable aspects of our humanity, all of our ways of being, our ways of knowing, our ways of moving through life, are included in that one single concept. As human beings, we unmask and make ourselves known to others and make ourselves vulnerable to each other by varieties of intelligences, languages, race, values, interests, politics, religion, gender presentation, philosophy, and several other aspects and dynamics that are common to humankind. The recognition of a common humanity is the first step in celebrating our differences. Differences that we use to communicate and explain our cultures and our values and our thought processes, all those ways of us being in the world. And today we're more diverse than ever before. I absolutely believe that. Backgrounds, cultures, religions, they're all interwoven into our American culture and our communities. Unfortunately, not all people who come from diverse backgrounds feel included or accepted in our society, just like we saw in that video. I mean, that's real life. We can learn so much from each other because, believe it or not, our way of thinking and being is not the only way. Who knew? Sometimes we think it is, though, don't we? We think they are wrong. They don't know. And that's not the truth. A couple weeks ago, Barbara and Lyle introduced some books to me from an event they went to, and written by, his name is Timber Hawkeye, and he's a Buddhist. Quick side note, he's going to be here in March. I know, I'm excited. Anyway, in one of his books, he reminds us of this. The opposite of what you know to be true is also true. Ha! And he says we all experience life differently. There are multiple theories on what's best, what's moral, what's right, and what's wrong. Isn't that the truth? So to learn from each other, we first have to have that level of understanding about each other so we can successfully facilitate that connection and that support of one another. Celebrating diversity means learning to accept people from all areas of life and appreciate them for their own beautiful uniqueness. And it's that special something that each human being has. And that special something makes each and every single human being unique and necessary to the whole. Kofi Annan said this: we may have different religions, different languages, different colored skin, but we all belong to one human race. Sometimes we forget that. I don't mean we in this room, because we don't. We as society, as humanity, we are much more alike than we are different. And that's what I really like to emphasize here in common ground. Seeing the beauty in people's differences is one of the best ways that we can celebrate that diversity, that we can honor other people for who they are, what they believe, how they think, how they see the world. We can learn from that. And I know we all have. How many of us knew anything about Hinduism before Devika came and decided to share that with us? It was awesome. Sometimes we're afraid of what we don't understand, and there is no need. The Dalai Lama said this. This is what he said: all religions share a common root, which is limitless compassion for the suffering of others. Insofar as love is essential in every religion, we could say that love is a universal religion. But the various techniques and methods for developing love differ widely between the traditions. I don't think there could ever be just one single philosophy or one single religion, since there are so many different types of people with a range of tendencies and inclinations. It is quite fitting that there are differences between religions, and the fact that there are so many different descriptions of the religious path shows how rich religion is. There's something for everybody, is what he's telling us, right? We are all different. We all have different belief systems. We all see the world a little bit differently. How beautiful is that? I think that's one of my favorite things about the class we're doing on Thursdays, is all of us look at the same thing and have a little bit different opinion. And how beautiful, what a great way to learn and grow and get to know each other. Has anyone read The Faith Club? It was really a good book. It was written in 2006. It was written by 3 women, a Jewish woman, a Muslim woman, and a Christian woman. And they have since become very, very good friends. They were all 3 on a quest to write a children's book to show the similarities in their 3 traditions. They wanted to highlight those connections between Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So when they got together to do this project, they realized how many stereotypes and misunderstandings they were holding on to about the other person's religion. And they realized they clearly needed to have a deeper understanding and a deeper awareness of the other faiths. So ultimately, after 3 years of intimately and openly discussing issues that divided them, they found they grew close enough to discover, because they explored, to discover those things that united them. They were able to accomplish that by agreeing to work together. They knew they had to be brutally candid with one another, no matter how rude it seemed or how politically incorrect it may be. They had that open agreement. And eventually, and they made it very abundantly clear that it wasn't easy, conflict and anger gave way to that reconciliation. And what that turned into? A mutual understanding, a mutual respect. Realizing, yes, you know what? We have more in common than not. We are more the same than different. They've become very good friends over the years because it has such a deep connection with one another. Talk about having real conversation, right? That was essential, though, to their project, and they were willing. To establish that universally recognized concept of love, of respect, and of oneness, there's a need to accept that there is a universal principle at the core, that it does actually exist. And these principles lie at the core of all the major traditions and religions. It's the value of humanity, that universal brother and sisterhood, the principle of loving your neighbor. And of course, the golden rule is at the core of all these traditions. Treat other people like you want to be treated. It seems like such a simple concept. Now, religion is not the only way that life shows us diversity. Nature teaches us if we open our eyes, if we're willing to look, if we're willing to listen. Life intentionally created diversity. I happen to believe that. Look at all the species of trees and flowers and animals. Obviously, they have similarities, and they also have distinct differences, don't they? Fish is one great example. They live in the water. They have the ability to swim, to get their oxygen and their nourishment from water. They all do that. However, they're diverse in color. They're diverse in size. They're diverse in eating habits, swimming patterns. The diversity in the various species of fish is repeated in life everywhere. That's how it's designed and created. Life is diverse. There's a Baha'i teacher who teaches about looking at nature, at the beauty and its diversity. And I'm going to share a little bit. And he talks about how we can learn that lesson from nature. He says, when you look at a garden where all the plants are the same form, color, and scent, instead of being beautiful, it would appear monotonous and dull. What if we were all the same in here? And what if we all looked the same, thought the same, had the same friends, ate the same food, did the same thing day after day, minute after minute? Yow, right? Monotonous, dull. He says the garden pleasing to the eye and to the heart is the garden where flowers are growing side by side of every color, form, and scent. And the contrast of color, form, and scent is exactly what makes for charm and beauty. I would agree with that. He goes on to say it is the diversity and variety that constitutes that charm. Each flower, besides being beautiful in and of itself, brings out, by contrast, the qualities of all others, showing the extraordinary beauty of each and all. I feel like that's what we do here. We bring out that beauty of one another because each of us are so unique and have so much to offer, not just to this community, to the world. We all have similarities. We all have differences. That's what human beings are made up of. We all breathe the same air. We all are creatures of the land. We all have a need for community. That's what human beings do. At the same time, we're of different size, different color, different shape, different temperament, different gender, different ideologies, different philosophies on life. Every person on this planet with their unique characteristics came from the same source and is an expression of that oneness. Everybody is necessary to the whole. The breadth and scope of our diversity is amazing to me. When you start meeting people and you look around and you listen to people speak and talk about their backgrounds, it's fascinating to me how diverse we really are. And we are designed to reflect life's diversity. That's how we're designed, to be open and to share. When we look at our species as a whole with the eyes of our heart, we can see the beauty, we can see the creativity, we can see the very reflection of God in each and every human being, in each and every sentient being. Manaz Afghani, I probably messed that up and I'm sorry, tells us this: we have the ability to achieve, if we master the necessary goodwill, a common global society blessed with a shared culture of peace that is nourished by ethnic, national, and local diversities that enrich our lives. If we're open to it, if we're willing. The goal is to use compassion to keep us humble, to strengthen us, to enhance our understanding of the diverse nature of all beings, of the role that we are here to play while on this planet. There is no room for fear. There is no room for hatred and division. None. Open your heart. Love. Be vulnerable. Learn. Explore. Let's celebrate the tremendous diversity of humankind, be it race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, language, beliefs, whatever. Let's be open to that. Let's understand that our shared existence as living beings is a benefit to all. Appreciate the fact that diversity is one of the things that holds us together. Let's remember what a blessing it is that this world is such a diverse place. Instead of uniformity, we see beauty, we see creativity, and it's all revealed through the creation of life. All you have to do is look and be open. We can ensure peace and happiness by cultivating a healthy respect for diversity of all people, of all cultures, of all life. Thank you so much for being here this morning while I shared this truth as I understand it.